FinishingChicago.com's Update Your Interior savings before they're gone. For up to 25% off your new finish, start with FinishingChicago.com.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
It's Driving It Home with me, your host, Patti Vasquez. I want to thank Joan Esposito for giving me a chance to hang out in her chair, and thank you to Mark Pinsky and Lady B, who is running the show all day today with me. And I hope you get a chance to celebrate. Are you going to be with us tomorrow for our New Year's Eve show? We'll be here from 4 to 6, and Jerry Walski and I will be in studio. We've got more great prizes to give away tomorrow, including a package from the Thornton Distillery, a gift basket from Minocqua Brewery, just to name a couple. And I think I'm going to have some more gifts left over for not left over, just I don't want to I don't want to do it all at once. I want to give each gift a little bit of air and talk about these great businesses in the Chicagoland area. You know me, I'm a total dork when it comes to everything Chicago, including my neighbors like Gary, who's been you've been joining us for conversations for a while, not just here at WCPT, but I believe you're always a great contributor on our Whiskey and a Cookie on Fridays. So thank you, Gary, for hanging out with us the last year and a half.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy, Whiskey and a Cookie, and I always watch Adam in the morning. It's a history show. I love history.
Yeah, he's amazing. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, he is. We're talking just briefly about the woman. Now, this is a great person, and she's a teacher from Michigan. She was flying to Iceland, and she didn't feel right. And she went and had one of those instant test kits, and she took the test kit in the bathroom, and she was positive. So she locked herself inside the bathroom, told the stewardess that she tested positive for COVID, and that she's going to stay in there. And that's pretty good, because a lot of people, one, they're very small bathrooms, and being cramped up, claustrophobia.
Yeah.
But the stewardess was awesome to her. Brought her food, brought her drinks, probably brought her a couple cocktails to relax.
Right.
In there. But even afterwards, when she was isolated, the stewardess actually, sent her a Christmas tree and a couple gifts and stuff in isolation. And that's, what Christmas is about, Not as much the gifts, but the love.
Right, for others.
And,
yep.
Exactly. So that's the only thing I wanted to share with you. I think we're tired of Trump.
I know. Well, I had not seen that story, so it was for those who are catching up with our conversation. We're hanging out with Gary from Lombard. By the way, I'm giving you that Valoria coffee, so don't hang up when we're done, because Lady B's got to get your information so we can get some great coffee off to you. But this is a great story.
Thank you.
Absolutely. A Chicago teacher spent 5 hours in an airplane bathroom because she tested herself positive. She was, as Gary was saying, in flight, she started feeling a little off and wanted to make sure she kept everyone on the flight safe. So she quarantined herself in the bathroom. And I mean, and that's the thing, is that, people who, when we talk about COVID, they get cynical or disparaging, like, oh, she didn't take, apparently the test she took before she flew didn't register that. It can, because your viral load can change at any moment. She doesn't know when she caught it, but she wanted to make sure she didn't spread it. And that's kind of the goal, right, Gary?
Yep, that is exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, I always believe, trust your heart, trust your body. We teach people, we teach our Marines, trust your instincts. If you feel it's not right, don't do it. Your instincts, that, fifth instinct is there. And you got to believe in yourself. And that's one thing I try to pass on to everybody. Please believe in yourself. And this is something not to take shortly. This is something. I lost my father this year to COVID, but he had complications, and so it's been a hard year, for our family. But with anything, you overcome.
Right.
So, but I know there's a lot of other people that want to talk to you, and I'll stay on the air with Mrs. B.
Yep. Lady B, we're going to grab his. Absolutely, we're sending off some a coffee package to Gary, and that's from Valeria Coffee. Have a great night, Gary. Hold on for Lady B, and I'm very excited to share this gift with folks. It is this for Gary. He's going to receive Revive and Solstice blends. Again, Valeria is based in the Six Quarters neighborhood, and they work with coffee farmers from all over the world to ensure rich flavors for every kind of coffee drinker. And we also earlier we were thrilled to give a gift from the Des Plaines Theater. I love the Des Plaines Theater. It's one of those places that I grew up with, sort of in the background of my life. If you're driving up Northwest Highway, past Park Ridge, you always saw that great old theater. And Ron Onesti does such a great job. He's got several wonderful theaters, including the Arcata Theater in St. Charles, and they've got this beautiful speakeasy that I've been blessed to perform at. It's a beautiful room, and we gave away a package to the Des Plaines Theater, which they've got a great lineup going into 2022. If you're not familiar with the Des Plaines Theater, visit their website, desplainestheater.com, and it's the theatre spelling, Des Plaines Theater, or follow their Facebook page. And they now have in their location, right across the street from the local metro station, they also have they've got everything you need to go have a nice cocktail, go dancing and dining, and they've got the Bourbon and Brass Speakeasy featuring a 1920s decor that reflects the Prohibition era, which is the origins of that incredible venue. And they've also got a wood-fired pizza and rock and roll experience, and a lot of great live entertainment coming up in 2022. I know they've got the Bodines this weekend, tomorrow for New Year's, and I'm wondering what folks are doing for New Year's, because I will tell you, I'll be doing virtual shows tomorrow. I'll be here from 4 to 6, bringing in the new year with you a little bit. We'll cover some stories of the year and have some laughs, and I give away some more prizes, as I mentioned, from the Minocqua Brewery and Thornton Distillery. And next week we've got some gifts from the Music Box Theater. So stay tuned. These are gifts from business owners who are grateful to their customers and to conversations that people have. Just really being able to connect with each other, and that's what we want to do, is connect you with some great local businesses. And also tomorrow night I'll be performing the virtual comedy show for New Year's Eve, as we do in addition to that show every Thursday night. We are on at 8 p.m. Central. You can go to virtualcomedyshow.com to watch our show tonight at 8 p.m. Central. And coming up at 5:45, we will check in with Steve Goody, who is the musician, songwriter, and comedian who does all of my parody songs. I'll play a little QAnon Girl when we come back from our next break, and we'll check in with him. And I want to know what's on your mind. What are you doing for New Year's Eve? 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-WCPT to call or text us. Virtual shows. So we have a listener who's asking, when they were a kid, they went to the Des Plaines Theater always, saw Around the World in 80 Days. Isn't it funny, the memory you have of a movie you saw in a specific theater? Like, I can remember seeing Back to the Future at the Pickwick Theater in Park Ridge, and I saw Star Wars at the Gateway Theater, which is in Jefferson Park, now the Copernicus Center. And what was cool about that was that the ceiling of the Copernicus Center, which was then the Gateway Theater, has a ceiling painted and it lights up with, like, it's a starry night. So when I was 6 and I saw Star Wars, and there's that first image of being in space and the ship is kind of coming into view, and I felt like I was in space because of that incredible theater, the Gateway Theater. So 773-763-9278. We're just kind of chatting a little bit, and I am looking at the numbers for Chicago. We've been talking about Omicron, and not just the numbers of positivity in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, but for me, my biggest concern right now is sending my kids back to school. Griffin is a senior in high school, and now it's about 8% of his senior class has tested positive. For Declan, we have not gotten any numbers. The data for us is not available, and he goes to a school with children who have varying degrees of abilities, and Declan has a lot of challenges intellectually and physically. He cannot keep a mask on. It's not something we can explain to him, or there's just, he won't comply. It's not something he will do, and so that makes him vulnerable. And I don't know how many other kids. It's not just your kid. It's in who the kids are with that come to school, like in their homes. Are they exposed? Are they vulnerable? The teachers, the staff, and I worry about everyone. So I know that we talk about how Omicron the symptoms aren't as severe as the Delta variant. The thing is that it spreads quickly. Everyone reacts a little bit differently. It depends on whether or not you're vaccinated, the severity of your symptoms. But spreading it is also causing a strain on our medical care system that is not sustainable if we can't get this under control. So I'm asking everyone to do your best to slow the spread. Mask up, wash your hands, socially distance. We're ordering in, we're staying in, and tomorrow night I'll be hanging out with some of my friends. Just one friend and her daughter are coming over. We're gonna have some Thai food. I'll be performing. It's the virtualcomedyshow.com. That's for tonight's show and every Thursday, as well as tomorrow's show. virtualcomedyshow.com. I'm making sure that I have the website right by just typing it in. Yes, Brad Tassel and Steve Goody, virtual comedy and programs. So that's where you'll find that. We'll get to our calls when we come back in just a moment on Driving It Home with your host, Patti Vasquez. That's me.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Believe it or not, your sleep can impact the way you walk. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. You already know that a lack of sleep is going to make you feel tired and anxious, irritable, depressed. You've probably heard me talk about how a lack of sleep can cause you to overeat, become overweight. It can lead to all kinds of health problems. Well, now researchers in Brazil say missing out on sleep can also impact your gait, thus potentially affecting your ability to walk purposely, avoid obstacles, keep your balance. They discovered this by asking people to keep pace with a metronome while walking on a treadmill. The participants who weren't sleep deprived did perform a lot better. Of course, getting adequate sleep is easier said than done. But this study does present another interesting finding to be aware of, and perhaps a little bit of encouragement. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
We know you're not quick with opinions beyond your tight circle of friends, but that's why people listen whenever you choose to weigh in.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. I'm your host, and that's a little Chris Jones bluegrass music. You can go to go to chrisjonesgrass.com. That's chrisjonesgrass.com. And we're talking a little bit about COVID. We're talking a little bit about New Year's Eve plans. I want to make sure I get to our texters as well. I'm trying to get to our friends on Facebook Live. Thank you all for hanging out and being grateful for my time with you, and I'm grateful for more time with you as well. Hi, everyone. And the 847 says they'll be chilling on New Year's Eve and watching old movies and asking what my New Year's Eve go-to movies are. So mine are Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. I like Top Hat and Swing Time are the two that I enjoy, although I think we talked earlier in the week about how unfortunate it is that Fred Astaire did a a huge number called Mr. Bojangles, and I watched a little of a documentary about the history of the minstrel images and performances. In particular, they talked about that one, and so I might have to take it out of the rotation. And I like Top Hat, but it's good to have those conversations and acknowledge where those performances, that sort of culture came from, and how we've grown from it. So anyway, those are my two. My husband loves the Marx Brothers movies, Day at the Races and Duck Soup. I think Duck Soup is his bigger one for New Year's Eve. So we'll have those movies on, and I think we're gonna maybe play some board games tomorrow. We're hanging out indoors and staying safe. And Dave from Hoffman Estates is joining the conversation. Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
Hey, Patty. Well, I don't know. I'll find out in about 48 hours. My sister called up and said that the older nephew had tested positive.
Oh boy.
And this was, we had seen him just before, like right around Christmas, just before. So I don't, feel bad or not. But she was kind of doing like Brother Gary said there, that kind of being safe than sorry, So my brother-in-law and I just came. We were over at Harper. They were all out of the instant test, so they did the 48-hour one. So I'll have to just lay low and listen to Patti Vasquez and that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. It's scary. I mean, it goes through. I mean, it's sort of. I mean, we know that we are vulnerable now, and we take our chances. We try to limit those chances. But when you're with your family, you hope that you're being safe, right?
Yeah, and like they say, that pretty much everybody's been getting touched by this now. That you've known somebody or whatnot. But real quickly, get to the others. I was listening to you when you were filling in, Joan, at the beginning when you were talking about your son at first, and it got me to thinking about when I first started working where I was at, and my mentor and later friend, he was German. He had been a Hitler Youth in the Second War and that, but he had his firstborn had Downs, and he and his young wife at the time, you're talking in the 50s, and he said they thought, he did something wrong. They did, that he was getting, paid back for something he did wrong. And he said, thankfully, he said, I had an old German doctor. He said, no. He said that it just 1 in 100,000, and he said, you and your wife just happened to be 100,000. And I was talking to, because I had no kids and at the time even, and I said, Herman, and I said, I just don't know if that ever came to me, would I be able to love him? He said, David, he said, you love him twice as much.
I have to say, it's something that I was the same way. Before Declan, I would see families like mine and think, I don't know how they do it. I would also think, I would think, thank God that's not me. I mean, I would be very honest, and it's not easy, and some folks struggle, which is why I started going to Springfield. I could see when that moment of you could lose all hope. I mean, I had nights where I didn't want to be this mom, and I just wanted to just disappear. It's hard and it's scary, and it will. I mean, our lives are not what we thought we were going to be doing. A lot of different considerations have to be made, and it's hard to explain to people that as hard as it is, if you can find a way, it's not like an idea of acceptance because it's constant work. I even have to remind myself that where I found the moment of solace, and it's a much longer story, but here's what it came down to. All the doctors and all the things they were telling me what my life was going to be like, or that Declan was never going to talk, he was never going to live independently, he was always going to need constant supervision. What I was focusing on was that. I could only, when you hear that, that's all you can focus on. And I was only worried about all the things he couldn't do. And when I realized that he did so many beautiful things, like laughing, like playing in the water and cuddling and dancing, if I could love all the things that he could do and not worry about the things he couldn't do, that was a place where I could function and work into being, as loving and as caring and as supportive for who he is, not who I wanted him to be or who I thought he needed to be. And it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. Well, it sure sounds like you and your husband have done a wonderful job,
Well, and that's the key. It's also not a solo journey that is manageable. If you know any single parent, and in particular with a child with disability, you'll ask them like, "What can I do for you?" They don't know, honestly, in a moment. But if you know what I recommend, if you really want to help somebody in our situation, I would say send them laundry services. There are companies that will pick up their laundry, they'll wash it and fold it, and they'll have it all folded. Send them gift cards to restaurants. Send them things that they might not do for themselves that just makes their lives like the least you could do. I used to have a segment on another show called The Least We Could Do, and we would have people call in and say, for a gift card to a pizza joint, and they would give it away to volunteers and to families who needed it. The least we can do sometimes is just being thoughtful and saying, "Hey, here's a pizza on me," that kind of thing. Yeah.
Because his son ended up, they'd have him at little cities and stuff like that. I don't know if, what the deal, because he's long since passed now, but it was amazing because like he told me, he said, "No, that you love him more."
Well, it brings.
I thought it'd be a little uplifting there.
It is.
You guys are doing a hell of a job.
Declan has taught me.
So you get to the other guy.
All right. I will say this. So thanks, Dave. I will say that Declan has taught me that I am more than I thought I was capable of, and so without my husband, without my mom's support, without my son Griffin, without the people in my life, all my friends, I don't know how I could do this. So. And I can never thank my mom, my husband, or Griffin enough. Not for nothing, but I'm going to give Steve a little bit more. Steve is in it. My husband is such a champion. Let me go to Roosevelt. Hey, Roosevelt. Before we go to the break, what's on your mind, my friend?
Happy New Year to everybody, all your regular callers, all your audience, and yourself. And
Thank
your
you.
family.
Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
How much time do I have?
You got, how about I give you a minute 30? Can you do it in a minute 30?
A minute and 30?
Yep.
I can do that. All right, here we go. True story. I just got back from the store, right? I get out of the store. I'm double masked. You know what goes through my mind? Your voice, because I remember you saying a few days ago that you were double masked. So I have type 2 diabetes. I'm 65. I'm on the medication, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I get out of the store. There's this guy. He's got this little girl, no more than maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, no mask. So I tell him, "Sir, I don't mean to alarm you, but the cashier just told me that they're not allowing the cashiers to bag the groceries because they're all coming down with COVID." Okay?
Yep.
Yesterday, I'm at the same store. I'm picking avocados. All of a sudden, out of the blue, this woman starts talking to me and says, "You got to read this book," And she mentioned the guy, but it sounded like, I go, "Wait, that guy sounds familiar." I go, did he ever work for Fox News? And she goes on and on and on about George Soros, Pelosi, going into socialism, and she says, "I came from a socialist country. I know what socialism is." I go, "Let me guess, Poland, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "This isn't real." And she points to her mask, and she pulls her mask down to her nose. Below her nose. She goes, "This isn't real. This is all created by the Democrats." And I go, "What about January 6th? She goes, "That's not. People are getting tired, because we're moving to socialism." I go, "Oh yeah, if people are getting tired, then how come all those people on January 6th were white? How come they weren't Mexicans like myself? And how come they were blacks? How come they were Filipinos? How come they were Asians? She goes, "Oh, people are getting tired. People are getting tired. We're moving into socialism." So she goes on and on and on, and I let her talk, and I said, Can I just show you a video of Trump on the day of the insurrection?" He goes, "Trump never said what you're going to tell me." I go, "Well, how do you know what I'm going to tell you?"
Right.
I go. He said Marx peacefully. I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, "We're going to go marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue." And then he did a U-turn and watched it on TV. I go,
right.
I go, "That's what he did." And he goes, "That's not true. That's not true." I go, All you got to do is watch the video. She wouldn't let me talk. She goes, you got to read. Oh, Dennis Prager. That's the guy.
Oh, yeah, Prager, yeah.
I go, that idiot. And I push the button, and she says, he's not an idiot. He's a teacher. He's teaching these young people that we're moving into socialism. Oh, it was funny. And everybody's looking at us in the store. We're going at it. But I was very, I told her, have a happy new year. I go, I'm sorry you feel that way. She goes, you sound like my brother. You sound like my brother. My brother says I'm crazy. I go, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm with her brother.
So it was so funny, man. But she went on and on. She goes, Fauci created this mess. Fauci created this mess. He's the one that got all this COVID going on. And she kept on pointing to her mask and repeating herself, saying, this is not real. This is not real. I go, then why are you wearing the mask?
Well,
she goes, no. But
yeah, because she wants to get, she'll play along. But the thing is that, like, we see this time and time again, too. Even on their deathbeds, there are people who are willing to say it's not real. I know. It's a mania. It's a mania.
I couldn't, let me tell you. And she was very angry. I go, why are you so angry? I go, she kept on yelling, socialism, I guess you like Biden, don't you? I go, I voted for Biden. Yeah, I did. And I was very calm. I go, I voted for Biden. Because, you're crazy. We're going to go to socialism. I go, do you know who Mussolini is? He goes, no. I go, wait a minute. You're from Europe and you don't know who Mussolini is?
No.
I go, that's what we're heading. I go, narcissism. And she goes, no, socialism, communism. But, oh, man, I go, how come you don't let me finish what I'm going to say? He goes, no. All that is created by the media. They're lefty media, she kept on saying.
Well, maybe she's listening to my show. That's how they feel about us. Roosevelt, I gotta run. I gave you like 3 minutes, just so you know. I gotta go. Roosevelt, I
ramble on.
That's okay. I'm gonna go to traffic. Have a happy New Year. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I've got Mary and Heather, John and Ron on hold. We'll be right back with our calls, and then we'll talk to Steve Goody coming up a little bit later too. More in a moment on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. That's me.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
In or out on the Eden's good to go. Kennedy inbound hefty right out of the O'Hare terminals to the Tri-State. Again in pockets from Montrose to the Burn. O'Hare into downtown 3519 and from the Junction. Outbound hitting the brakes from Central to Sayre. 10 to the Split, 7 in the Express, 23 to the airport. Eisenhower inbound touch and go from North Avenue most of the way into Des Plaines Avenue, where it opens only to slow Paulina to the Burn. 390 into the Circle 35, outbound in 28. Ooh, that inbound Stevenson. That is bumper to bumper from 355 to Clarendon Hills Road with an accident blocking 2 right lanes. 355 into DeSable Lakeshore Drive. That's an hour and 9. Outbound in a half hour. South on 55, that's jammed from US 6 down to Arsenal with a crash. That's traffic. I'm Mary DeBadges.
Need new hires in the new year? You need Indeed to help find your next hire. When you sponsor a post, you get a list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Who doesn't love pets? This is Joan Esposito, and here at WCPT, we really, really love pets. So much so that we're spotlighting an adoptable, adorable dog or cat every month. Our friends from local rescue agencies will be featuring a furry celebrity on the WCPT820.com homepage. And we'll talk live with them and Dr. Craig from Mark Drugs about why rescue is best. It's all part of Live, Local, and Progressive with Joan Esposito. Log on to WCPT820.com to learn more.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
On January 6, 2021, followers of Trump and something called QAnon attempted a coup at the United States Capitol. Who are these people? I want to live with the QAnon girl. I could be happy the rest of my life with a QAnon girl. Believer of theory, she leans to the
when we get to gather again, I'm hoping to be able to get our friend Steve Goody on stage somewhere in the Chicagoland area. And one of the great stages in the Chicagoland area, we were talking about the Displays Theater. Ron Anesti joins us, calling in. We gave away a great gift package earlier, and I'm so grateful for that, Ron. And I miss you. I miss performing at your great spaces at my favorites at Speakeasy over the Acada Theater. How are you doing?
Patti! It's so nice to hear your voice. Congratulations also again on your show and everything that you're doing. And Joni Esposito is a very good friend, and we love her very much as well. But I really so proud of what you're doing, and you're really making a difference. And hope 22 is a great year for you, dear.
Oh, I'm feeling good just hearing your voice, because I just have such great memories of some of the shows that we've done and of the venues that you have. Tell us specifically about, because the Displays Theater is a destination that I've grown up with. I mean, I grew up in Norwood Park, and now I live in Jefferson Park, and I'm so glad that you've brought this incredible venue to life. Tell us a little bit about that theater and the restaurants you have there now too.
Yeah, it's very exciting, Patti. I mean, this place, this is a venue that is very near and dear to the hearts of so many people, obviously in Displays, but also Park Ridge and Glenview and everybody around that area. And it's been closed for, I don't even know, a couple decades, and they tried to do some movies there, and it's just really, really bad shape. But about 2 years plus, we took it over, and along with the City of Displays and Rivers Casino, we also did some sponsorship there and some help. We totally gutted it. And it's I gotta say, it's magical. It was opened in 1925, and not since then has it seen this kind of splendor. You know, walk in, it's going to be like when the Wizard of Oz went from black and white to color. Just an amazing, amazing feel. We opened it on Halloween, and we had our buddy Kevin Costner there with his band, and we built it, and he came, which is really cool.
Nice.
And then since then, we've had, everybody, Amy Grant, Paul Anka, the guys from the Electric Light Orchestra, Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I mean, just so many. We got the Bodines tomorrow night for New Year's Eve. They're over here at the Arcada tonight. And that answers one of the questions that we get so much. Will there be, a situation where what you have in St. Charles at the Arcada over in Displays? And the answer is many, many times we will. So it's just wonderful. It's just a great building. We've preserved it, and when you walk in, it's like fantasy land.
I believe it, because you're the what's the name of the speakeasy you have above the Arcada Theater? Because you have
We've got the Club Arcada Speakeasy is still flourishing. People are going nuts for it. We got our Sinatra Sundays every Sunday, and we've got our floor shows on Fridays and Saturdays, and blues nights and magic nights. It's just a very, very cool 1920s experience. And at the Displays Theater, Patti, we've added on the second floor a speakeasy, because I'm all about the speakeasies, Patti.
That's right.
It is called Bourbon and Brass, and it's a top secret door. You got to get in, and it's all vintage furniture and antiques, and it's like a jazz club feel stage. It's just a really cool experience.
I love it, because you remember when I don't know if you remember, but when I was at the Arcada Speakeasy upstairs, there you had that room with the Jean Harlow, and that side room is just gorgeous. And so I'm guessing you also have the opportunity for folks, if they have an event coming up, whether it's a fundraiser or a wedding or any of those. I'm guessing that's also an incredible place to hold those events too.
Oh yeah, Patti. I mean, again, we make it. We're so about the experience here at all my places, just so about the experience. And for us, the money's got to be right. We all know that and whatever, but that's, believe it or not, it's not number one. It's about being able to provide a memorable night, and we're keeping, those old 1920s, 30s, 40s alive. My theaters, it's all about the music that I grew up kind of with 60s, 70s, 80s, a little bit of 90s. It's just a great experience, and fundraisers, birthday parties, just all that kind of stuff. You're just looking to get away from this craziness for a minute. Our place is a pretty good alternative.
I agree. Always great to talk to you. And I look forward to catching up with you and enjoying a live event very, very soon. And I know that everyone's trying to stay safe. I wish you a happy New Year, Ron. And thank you so much for being able to join us. I know it was last minute, but I wanted to have a longer segment with you in the next few weeks and talk about your calendar coming up. Sound good?
Absolutely, but I do want to do, if I could just steal 1 minute from you, not 3.5 like the last guy. I just
He didn't steal it. I gave it to him. I have control over this board. Go ahead.
I know. You saw it was a cool story. I was laughing. But anyway, real quick here, because I know you'd want to know this. A couple weeks ago, I saw a story in the paper about these nurses that went into a burger joint, and it was so backed up, and because obviously help is hard to find these days. They waited for almost 2 hours. They still never got their burgers, but just like what nurses do in the face of danger, they jump in, they get their hands dirty, and they help serve, and they help this burger place for like 6 hours and help them out. And they never even got their burgers. But those are the heroes that we celebrate all our shows. So January 28th, we're doing an all nurses only night at the Arcada Theater. Yep, it's a free show. We got the music from ABBA Mania is going to be there. So who doesn't like ABBA? The music of ABBA. And it's just nurses, and it's all free because they are heroes, and it's our way of saluting them as heroes. So January 28th at the Arcada Theater, it's a nurses-only night. Go to oshows.com, and you can pick up your tickets. If you're a nurse, wear your scrubs, and we're going to have an all-nurses salute night.
That's oshows.com? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, oshows.com is our website.
Oshows.
January 28th the date.
Mm-hmm.
And tell all your nurses. I know you're such a big proponent of first responders.
Yep.
So let the nurses know that they're being appreciated and honored.
Excellent. So I'm on the website right now, so you can get information not just about the event, but also all the great theaters and entertainment destinations that Onesti Entertainment has. Ron, let's book something before that, so we make sure that we fill the house with all the great nurses who deserve a night out. And your graciousness, I appreciate that.
You should come out. We'll bring you out on stage. You should be part of that.
Sure. Hey, here's the thing. I got a good 10 minutes on my son and talking about the nurses that saved his life. I'm still friends with the nurses who saved my son's life when he was born. So it would be my honor to do that for you.
Yep.
Excellent.
You got it, my dear. All right. Happy New Year. Love you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, and thank you so much for really, again, bringing this great destination to Des Plaines. We needed it. It's only like 15 minutes from me, so I'm a little bit awesome. I'm a little greedy that way. Hey, have a great New Year, Ron. Take care.
You too, Betty. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Let me take I know some of our folks have been on hold, too. I want to make sure we get to, let's see who's been on hold. Mary from Elk Grove Village. Hey, Mary, how are you doing today?
Hey, Patty.
Hey.
You know, there's a reason why I listen to your show and the station is that even though there's so many things that make you so angry going on in the world, then there's these little sprinkles of joy, like your former, I don't know his name, but to honor the nurses with the all-nurse show, I just think that's awesome.
Isn't it great? And it was Ron Onesti, from the Des Plaines Theater,
Des Plaines Theater, I love it. And I was listening to you earlier on the Jones Show, and you were talking about the birth of your son, and one day we'll have a conversation. Mine's kind of adjacent to yours, parallel. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to clarify it, but it's a scary situation, very scary. But you also brought up your favorite last live performance, last theater, concert, whatever, and I couldn't call in because I was still working, allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly. And I have one for you. It was my husband's 50th birthday, and I got him tickets for the Rolling Stones, who he loves. He loves the Rolling Stones. And we were in the tongue pit. So we're standing the entire time. We're up there, right by Mick and Keith and the rest of the guys. And Mick is going around the tongue, and he takes a drink of water and then spits it on the crowd. And he spits on me.
No.
Yeah. And Patty?
Yes?
Any other time. I would have been up there on the runway knocking him out. But instead, I'm standing there as like this 40-something-year-old woman going, Mick spit on me. This is awesome.
Oh, man.
Like a dork. Yeah. And then later on, a couple of years later, we took our youngest son because the Stones concerts, you know, even at that one, the first one, I was with my older boys, and then there was a performance, and I just had to back away from them. I was just like, yep, can't stand next to you. I mean, naked women on stage. Okay, can't see this. Sorry, don't want to stand next to Mom. And but I took my youngest to, well, actually my husband did because he's a huge Stones fan. Took him to Milwaukee, and it's all our age. You know, it's all like middle-aged people. And they start walking down the catwalk, and our neighbors are like, let's bring him down to the little guy. He's like 10 years old. And they pull my youngest son down next to the stage, next to Keith, and Keith looks down at him, points at him, and winks. And I'm like, that is so wasted on him. He has no idea what just happened. But my favorite performance that sticks out to me right now, aside from every single performance any of my children have done, because
sure, of course, yes,
I choke up. Doesn't matter what I'm at, you know, Christmas pageant or orchestra or whatever. But Hamilton.
Oh yeah, folks do. I've never seen it live. I saw it on Disney Plus, but I've heard people are just absolutely love being in the audience for that performance.
Not just that, Patty. So many lines from that show so reflect to the current state of affairs right now. You know, I don't want to throw away my shot. You know, the world's turned upside down. Immigrants get it done. I mean, there's just so many lines in that show that are reflective to current life. So, I mean, so Hamilton right now is my favorite, and that was the last show I saw before the shutdown. That was, I think we saw it the second to last day before the entire production left Chicago, and it was the second time I've seen it, and it was just gorgeous. And I have another upcoming show coming on the 29th for Zanzani.
Oh, yeah. I've heard great things about Zanzani, which is sort of a interactive performance situation, I think. So that'll be fun.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see if that happens.
I know. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Mary, for sharing those great stories. Have a wonderful New Year. I'll be here tomorrow, okay?
Okay, yeah, I am going to listen. Oh, Patty. So you're bringing in the New Year's on...
At 6.
Okay, so you want someone from Ireland?
Yes.
I'm working on that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Hold on the line, and can you grab Mary's email so she can reach out to me if she finds somebody? That'd be awesome. Thanks, Mary. Stand by. There we go. And one more call, and then I'll get to Heather after the break because I got Steve Goody on hold as well. But John's been on hold for a bit, too, and I want to make sure we get to John's call. John, thank you so much for being patient. What was on your mind?
Well, kind of like it feels like we're going back to March of 2020 with theater shutting down.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm a member of the acting community in Chicago area. I'm a Jefferson Park resident, and I've seen 4 shows cancel performances because of COVID, and then I've seen those same 4 shows deciding, let's throw in the towel, we're going to close. We need theater right now.
We do.
We need that live theater. We need that escape. We really need theater. And it's not the actors that are, well, it's the actors and crew that are getting sick, and it has nothing to do with being masked or triple vaccinated or anything. They're obviously, interacting with people who are either not masked or
being unsafe
or not vaccinated.
Right.
Because that's what's happening. Because the theater community in Chicago is so vigilant and so safe to their actors. And I have so much respect for these live theaters that are shutting the shows down for everybody's safety, the audience, the cast, the crew. But it's not like Chicago is just like, trying to do this with people unmasked, on whatever. I mean, they're demanding vaccinations. They're demanding masks. I mean, it's so sad because, These are my friends. I've got friends on Broadway. The Wicked show just a week ago had 8 understudies, and 2 of them were Elphaba and 8 understudies.
Yeah, obviously the performance industry, entertainment industry, in live performance specifically, it's hard because we are amongst the most vulnerable. The audiences are vulnerable, and it's so inconsistent from one venue to the next. I mean, obviously from city to city, that this has been hard to manage and support. So we have to continue to show up for each other. And I thank you so much for sharing your frustration with this. And hang in there, John. I hate to say it sounds so trite, doesn't it? But I do appreciate your frustration and your anxiety over it, because I have the same. Thank you, John. Take care, okay?
Thanks for your time.
Of course. Let me take a break here. We'll check in with Steve Goody when we come back, and Heather's on the line. I think she's got a comment for another caller. I love when we have caller-to-caller conversations. More in a moment on Driving It Home with me, Patti Vasquez.
This is the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you money and energy while helping you lower your carbon footprint. With discounts on Energy Star certified LED bulbs, so you can come back to a home full of savings. Learn more at ComEd.com/lighting. ComEd, powering lives.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Check up on health with Chris Whitting. Back pain is an all too familiar problem. In fact, during any 3-month period, about a quarter of all adults experience at least one day of back pain. So, are drugs the best way to deal with the pain? Here's Lisa Gill, the prescription drugs editor at Consumer Reports.
We've done some surveys asking regular people what works for back pain. For certain kinds of back pain, things like physical therapy, certain kinds of stretching, even hands-on therapies such as chiropractic care or even massage therapy seems to be extremely beneficial. What we've seen in our surveys is that people rate those modalities or those treatments higher levels of satisfaction than if they take an opioid medication like Percocet, for example. So I think it comes down to asking your doctor, as he or she is about ready to write a prescription, hey, is there anything else I can do?
With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Some got busy, some got lazy, some got creative, some went crazy. Couch potatoes, avoiding respirators, we all got pretty big round the equator. Shopping online, working online, zooming all day, no pants, that's fine. Hiding at home from civilization, here's what I did over my pandemic vacation.
In chronological order, more or less, with the non-political songs first, cause not everybody wants to hear what I think politically, and I understand that, but honestly, how could anyone get through the past 18 months without one political thought?
Now, Steve Goody, how long has it been over? Oh, it's almost 2 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
I've gotten lazy. I got lazy. I got crazy. I did not. I tried to be creative, but lazy and crazy made it hard to be creative. But all those things.
I think you were quite creative.
The moment.
I think it's hard for us to assess our own creativity sometimes because we're so busy making the next thing, you forget about the 30 other things you just did.
Yeah, I actually, I've been talking I've done the show. I filled in for Joan Esposito from 2 to 5, and then I'm in the last few minutes of my show, so it's 4 hours. But before that, I actually had a therapy session for an hour before I started.
Dang.
So I've been talking for 5 hours, and then everybody's calling in. But before I get to a couple of our callers who are on hold, I just want to make sure people know about two things: our virtual comedy show tonight, as we do every Thursday, and our New Year's Eve show. Tell us what's in store for tonight and tomorrow.
Well, tonight at 8 o'clock Central, virtualcomedyshow.com, we're doing our virtual comedy show that we do every Thursday at 8.
at virtualcomedyshow.com. Tonight will be especially special because our headliner is none other than Patti Vasquez. Wow. How we got her. Yeah. Normally, our friend Patty melts. She does a Patty melt where she melts down about some crazy thing that has happened in her life, which is, the only trouble with that is selecting which one.
Right.
But, you're a headlining comedian, and so why haven't we given you a headline spot yet? I don't know, but it finally occurred to us, let's do that. So you will be our headliner tonight.
Yay.
And Brad and I will be debuting, you bet, we'll be debuting my Starbucks song, which was posted 2 days ago. This will be first live performance, and I think we're not even going to rehearse. We're just going to do it.
As you should.
So that'll be nutty.
Nice.
And we'll have a top 10 list, and we'll have a couple songs from the brilliant Carla Albrecht. That's all tonight. That's just tonight. Tomorrow, and this is complicated, so pay attention. Okay. We're going to do Ringing in the New Year from 11 till midnight in all 4 continental United States time zones. So you and I are in the Central Time Zone. So at 10 o'clock our time, it'll be 11 o'clock on the East Coast. So that's when we're starting, 10 p.m. Central tomorrow. We'll do a 1-hour show that ends with a countdown to New Year's for the East Coast. And then at at 11 p.m. our time, we'll do it again. Another 1-hour show that culminates in a countdown to midnight for the Central Time Zone. And then at 1 a.m., we'll do it again for the people in the Mountain Time Zone, like Denver and Boise. We'll do a show an hour long that culminates in countdown to New Year. And then we'll do it again from I've forgotten what time it is now. The last hour. It's 1 a.m. It's so confusing.
No, because at 2 a.m. our time, our time is midnight on the West Coast. We're not doing...
That's right. So we'd start at 1 a.m. and wrap up at 2 a.m. our time, which is midnight for the West Coast.
There you go.
Basically, if you're in the Central Time Zone, 4-hour show starting at 10 p.m. tomorrow, which is 4 different shows. There'll be nothing repeated amongst the shows. There's going to be 4 different 1-hour shows. And you drink champagne 4 times.
There you go. And I'll pop in and pop out. I don't know if we've worked that out, or maybe you worked it out for me. We'll figure it out.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. We'll figure it out.
We're going to get through tonight, and then we've got 24 hours to sort out tomorrow.
I love it.
It'll be fun.
I love it. Our friend Steve Goody's on the line with us, and Steve, I hate to do this because I've got so many people that have been on for 4 hours, and everyone's calling at the end, which I completely appreciate. So Heather's on the line from Michigan. Heather, Steve, Heather. I know you wanted to comment on Ron from Michigan.
Yes, the man, Ron, who called in Michigan, or from Michigan, who said he is in Berrien Springs, and was talking about a home that was owned by Al Capone.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it's there. I know it's there. I used to live not far from Berrien Springs. So. And then in Niles, Michigan, there is also a hotel he stayed at, which was Four Flags Hotel, and then next to that was a movie theater, and it was the Ready Theater, but before it was a theater, it was a playhouse.
Ooh.
And I wasn't alive when it was a playhouse. God, I wish I would have been. But, oh, my God, I just thought it was kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah. I thank you for sharing that with us, Heather. And I know you've been on hold for a while. We've been talking about theaters, Steve, and we also kind of tossed in Capone in reference because our listener said that the Capone, basically in the Midwest, there are a lot of places that a Capone apparently was at or did business. Do you guys have anything in Tennessee that Capone slept here or shot somebody here? Because we have a lot of those in the Midwest.
We made a lot of his moonshine. That's all I know.
That's what I was thinking. I know. See,
I don't know if he ever came down here himself. He had a guy.
He had a guy do that. Thanks for sharing that with us, Mary. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Alrighty.
Take care. And we have one more caller. David's calling from San Francisco. Hi, David.
Hi, Patty. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Steve, I bet that Al Capone traveled through Tennessee because I know he went down to Florida more than once.
Sure.
But,
oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was just interested in, I heard you talking about theater and COVID, and we're having the same problems out here. I worked at the Fillmore Theater, Bill Graham Presents, and the Warfield Theaters, and everything's shut down. My God, it's a hassle. But I was just kind of raising the issue. It sounds like Steve, as a comedian, might like some lines. You know, the fake conservatives, I've been calling up these right-wing shows and asking if a real conservative, since the Center for Disease Control wants a 5-day quarantine, whether or not the real conservatives would want to up it to 10 days. And another one is herd immunity. Basically, that's evolution. And so these fake Christians are pushing evolution. They want to...
That's a good point.
I never thought of it that way.
I hadn't thought of it either. Well, here's the thing: you're asking for logic, and which is actually what comedy is about, being illogical. But you have to know the logic in order to be illogical. Mm-hmm. You can't break the rules without knowing them. So that's a good point, David. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Hey, well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And everyone, join us tonight for the virtual comedy show. It's virtualcomedyshow.com. Steve, thank you so much. I'll see you in a couple hours.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you so much to Jonah Esposito. She'll be back on Monday. I'll be here tomorrow, 4 to 6. We got more prizes to give away. Minocqua Brewing, Thornton Distillery, maybe more surprises. Join us. Bye, Lady B. I'm late. I know, I'm sorry.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along.